Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sergeant Lane Cryptid Encounters here. I'm just going through this footage I got archived and had some pretty good footage, so I was going to bring it to the channel and just put it all together and put it up on the channel so y'all can see this footage. It's pretty good, pretty compelling footage. So we're going to look at this right here. I'm going to go to markup. Okay, so this was like less than 10 feet in front of me back when I recorded it during the summer. So you got the big Sasquatch's head right here. Here's his teeth. You can see his the white of his teeth. He's snarling at me, right? His main eye is right here, but we're going to go over that in a second. And his other eye's like right here. He's leaning back. But what you got here is one of his babies, the pale face of the baby. You can see its butt right there. And it's leaning back looking at me. See, there's this bushy hair. One of its little eyes. And its other eyes over. There's its head, its little ear. And its leg is like that. It's leaning all the way back around looking at me. And then here's its butt. And there's its twig and berries hanging down to its parent's eyeball right there. And there's the other part of its leg like that. So I'm going to take all that markup off there so you can actually see the image and see the youngster there hanging onto his dad's head or his brother or whatever it is. And the thing hanging down the eyeball there. You see his teeth. Check that out. And his nose. See his nose? See his nostrils flaring up right here. See his lip even. Like so. And there's the eye. And here's the other eye. Anyways, that guy's less than 10 feet out in front of me. And I'm just recording through the thick vegetation, you know. But, and then there's the little baby. And to the left of them is another Sasquatch. This is probably either the male or the female. I don't know. But here's his beard. There's his nose. His beard comes all the way up like that. And his one eye's right here. You can't see much of him on that one there. But it looks like he's laying back. He's kind of laying in a backward position there. And then there's another one right here. There's its nose. There's its eye looking this way. Right? And then there's a little baby right here in the green. And it's stretching its arm out like this. And you can see its little tiny fingers. And it's got its arm out to cover the eyeball of this young adult. So that's what he's reaching out to do, is to cover the eyeball. He's behind the vegetation. So check this out. I'm going to take all that off there. And look, you can see the fur on the arm and everything. You can see the hand coming up to cover the eyeball. They're doing that for concealment. And there's the little one right there. You can't hardly see him. He's behind that vegetation, and from where they stain their skin and stuff, they blend right in. And, yeah, pretty good footage. Down here in the corner also, here's a hand. You can see these big claws right here, the white claws. Like so. There's a hand right there. There's a little young one right here, a little juvenile. His hand goes back like that because there's an adult. Another adult right here, and he's got one eyeball on me right there, squinted, that you can see. Watching me, there's the mouth. So they're able to get to me within just a couple steps, you know, from the time from when I recorded this. Okay, so that's this image. Take a look at that. All right. On to the next image. Okay, let's see what we got here. I don't know. Kind of look like molars there. I can't tell, but right there's what it is. There's an eyeball right there. Right there, watching me through the vegetation. That's what that was. Next one. Okay, this was a couple frames later. You can see the eye coming out right there. You can see it a little bit. You can see that hand's further up on the eye. That's basically what this was like a still shot later from the last image. So you see the main Sasquatch there, the little one over his left eye, and then this one on his right eye, probably an older child, most likely. Okay. Put that eyeball through all that thickness. I think that's just thick fur, you know what I mean? Because right there's a Sasquatch with an eye on me in that thick vegetation looking at me. They just blend so well, you know what I mean? Here's another one with a big eye open here. Let me do a markup on this just to show you. Okay, so here's his beard, right? Here's his mouth, it's like that. And there's his eye. Look how big his eyelid's gotten. And there's his head. He's in the vegetation here. Let me take all that markup off so now you see it. They're just so well hidden. Check him out. Hiding in that brush. Here's his other eye right here. There's both his eyes. There's his nose. There's his mouth. Unbelievable. They get in that moss and they blend right in. You can walk right over them and not even realize they're there. Look at this little baby down there. Pretty well hidden there. Okay, this is a good one right here. So we're going to come in here. I'm going to automatically just go to markup. This is a good one. Okay. First off, we have a giant right here. Big guy. Overlooking his family. I'll zoom in and out and stuff so you'll be able to see it. Oh, right here he is. There's one on top of his head there, but here's the main one right here. So it goes like that. His main eyes are right there. There's his big nose and his mouth. And there's a juvenile on top of his head right here. I'm going to take that mark up off so you can see that. And I'll go in and out so you can reference it. Okay. But what's crazy is this footage has got so many Sasquatch in it, you just can't see him right off the bat. But what's crazy is right here, which you can even see the fur on this one, right? There's its eyes. Right? You can see it's like it's got a thick set of hair on it, right? Okay. This Sasquatch is leaning down on his elbow, right? Like so. And then he's got a little baby right here. Right in between his arms. So I'm going to take all that off there so you can see. See? There's his face. See the baby. See how he's leaning down on his elbow there. There's the little young one. In the protection of his arms. Check that out, man. It's good footage. They just well hide, they're so well hidden. So smart. Okay, so then we're going to go further down. Right? And you got one adult laying down right here. He's got his nocturnal lens shade on his right eye. His left one's open. There's his mouth, right? Then right above him, you got another adult right here, leaning down, getting on the ground. Right, there's his eyes. And there's a young one right here. There's a whole family in there. Here's another young one right here. Looks like there's another one right here on the bottom of the ground right here. Clear down out. He's got his high ridge, eyebrow ridge there. His nose, his mouth. They're so well hidden in here. And then, let me take that mark up off. And then also, looks like there's one right here as well. Look at the face on that one. And that one there is kind of blended in underneath some debris. Look at the eye on that one. There's the little baby. Check him out. You can even see his foot right there. See his head? Here's his eye. Tiny little fella. Pretty amazing footage. I know I'm not getting them all, but I'm sure you'll see some other ones in there that I don't see. I believe this is... Okay, so you got the main Sasquatch right here, right? There's his eyes. I think this is maybe his finger pushing down on the vegetation, or that's a juvenile's nose, maybe. I don't know. Can't tell. But yeah, check his footage out. I'll go ahead and do one more scan so you can see here. Okay, see his face coming in there? Can you tell? It's a big Sasquatch. He's ginormous, man. He's big. Okay. There's another Sasquatch right there in the vegetation. Another one. Another one. Couple babies in there. All the way down through there. Pretty good footage. Alright, moving on. Okay, what I thought was interesting about this one, alright, you got the one Sasquatch right here, and then you got this tree right here, right? This tree. It's a big tree, actually. But if you look right here, you'll see a Sasquatch head sticking out of the tree. Like they've cut a hole out in the tree, and he's tucked back in the tree. Check him out. See? See the hole they got cut out of the tree? You can see right there. His neck is like that. So he's got room to get inside the tree right there. Using it for cover or sleeping in the tree or something. And then you got another tree right here, right? That's further back than this tree. It's further back. And then you got a big Sasquatch right here with its head peeking around that tree. I'll zoom in there so you can see that. See its eyes, its nose, and its mouth. It's just keeping an eye on me. But yeah, the main reason for that image was to show you that Sasquatch coming out of that tree. Using it for cover and concealment or nesting in it or whatever. Alright, so next image. Same image, just you get a little further left over here to where you can see another Sasquatch right there. That's all it is. You see another Sasquatch right there out on a branch. Or is that? I take that back. That's a big Sasquatch right there. Let me get at it. He's peeking around the tree, but you got one eye there and one eye there. There's its mouth and its nose is hidden behind that vegetation, or it's some kind of camouflage or something. There's a Sasquatch right there. You still got the one peeking around here and the one coming out of the tree. It looks like there's some kind of... See this right here? Whatever that is. It looks like that might be like a panel that he uses to cover the door when he's inside the tree. See how it's oval? See the ovalness of it? He's got it propped up against that other tree, using that to cover the manhole or whatever. I don't know. Let's see. Next image. Okay. This is a good one. Now, this was back in July 2022. It was recorded earlier that day. And I looked at it at night and whatever, but it was a nighttime image. It wasn't at 9:24 p.m. if you see the timestamp there. That was later on. But on that day, I was recording back through the vegetation, and this guy was like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet out in front of me. Look at that. You see his nose. He's got his lens shades on his eyes. You can definitely tell he's got the conical head and the eye shapes and the nostrils and the mouth right there. Now it looks like there's one right beside him that's further back right here. It's a little bit more blurred. There's another Sasquatch right there. Looks like there's probably one in there somewhere. Ooh, I did not notice this one. Look at this. There's one eye. He's like grayish. The V shape. And he was close to me. A lot closer than he was. And but back then when I went out on that hike and recorded all this, I was hearing all kind of grunts and hissing and all that stuff, and they were trying to deter me from walking on my property, but I don't have any fear of them, so I think they can sense that. So they just eventually stopped trying to harass me, and they just avoided me is all they could, you know. So that's it on that image. Pretty good one though. All right, next one. Okay, this is it's not the same exact position. It was another position further down, but a little bit closer. Look at that. Coming through. This vegetation, it was so thick. And look at the definition in that, man. You know, this image has not been doctored in no shape or form. Okay, so you can see the mouth. You can see the mouth like that, right? There's the nose. There's the eye. Now he's got his lens shades pulled partially across his eye. Only a portion of his eye is actually showing. And then you see the rest of his face is like that. Okay, I'm going to take his markups off here. He's just in thick vegetation. He can reach out and grab me if he needed to. I'm like right there. Less than 2 feet probably. I mean, that was not zoomed in. And that was in that thick vegetation. So, yeah, he was arm length away from me. Right about an arm length is how far he was away from me. It was a bit unnerving on that one. I remember this one. I stopped. That was as far as I advanced when he was right in front of me. He's basically telling me, you're not going no further if you run right into me, because his family was right behind me. And that was as far as I went on that day. And you can see one of his family members peering around right there. But yeah, what footage? That's good footage right there, man. All right. Next one. Let me see. No, it was kind of blurry. There was a Sasquatch under the vegetation there on this one. I think that's why it was saved. One up here, I think. I was just being watched. There's a couple of them down there. There's a little juvenile there. Just blurry. It's just too blurry to make anything out. Oh, there's one peeking around the tree right there. Check him out. There's one on this side of the tree watching me. There was just a nest of them. Look at this one here. He's got slits for eyes. His left eye is slitted. Check him out. He's got a gray beard too. Let me go to edit on that one. That one is probably the clearest one of all of them right there. He's a tinier Sasquatch, but you see his eye there, right? His body's like that, and his arm, you see his fingers right here. He's holding one of them back, probably right here. Probably a little Sasquatch right there. Now, I could do some enhancements and pull some more detail on that, but I got a lot of photos to go through, so I've not been doing no enhancements. But I could clean up. Right there is what it is. Here's the other Sasquatch. Look at that high ridge brow right there. Here's his eye, his nostrils. Here's his mouth, his beard. He's a big Sasquatch, that one is. So let me take that markup off so you can see that. See? Looks like there's a leg right here in the foot. There's a couple juveniles this way, over to the left. It's just a bunch of Sasquatches in that footage, man. Bunch of them. Alright, next image for the sake of time. I'll go to the next image. Okay. Let me change this color to purple color. Look at this guy. He's got black bushy hair and a gray beard. Check out his beard right there. Here's his one eye. His mouth. On the other side of that fallen tree watching me, there's another little baby Sasquatch right there. There's another one right there. There's a bigger one right there, but it's blurred out right there, but and there's one right there. The main one was, let's see, there's one right there too. The main one was this one right here. He was coming in pretty good, so I need to actually just crop that out and clean this one up. Because, let's see, here's his shoulders. Alright, there's his head. I could probably clean that one up pretty good. He's got a juvenile on his back. Okay, let me see here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could crop that and move the image around a little bit, get some more detail out on it. Yeah. Cleaned that up quite a bit there. One screenshot of that. And so there's another Sasquatch right there looking over to the right. It's just so hairy and it's kind of blurry, but you see its hand right there sideways. If you got a good eye, you can make that one out, standing right there beside him. And then the one right here behind him. There's a family of them right there is what it is. All right. Oh, look at this one here. I didn't catch that one last time. Pretty squatchy, that's for sure. Next image. Yeah, I think we went over that one. I got a Dogman image I want to show everybody. Here's one right there at night. Getting a little bit of eye shine. There's a big flared nostril right there. Alright. There's the eyes coming in a little bit. There's the nostril. Okay, I'll just do a quick markup for anybody that's having a hard time seeing it. Basically, it's like this. There's the high iridge brow. There's the eye. Getting a little glare off of that one. There's the nostril. The mouth's down in here, well hidden. There's the shoulder blades. Just laying there watching me. The head's more cone. It's more conical like that. And there's a young one right here. It looks like a baby watching me. They just blend so well, you know what I mean? Let me take that markup off. You can see the Sasquatch there. You know he's there. But look, the image. It's not like that's a pixelated image. You can see the leaves and all that. It's up close. But you can definitely tell that that's a Sasquatch right there. Okay. Next image. Okay, you can see that Sasquatch looking off to its left. It's a light grayish Sasquatch with a dark tanned face. Right there. Next. Sasquatch on both sides of the trees there. You got wait a minute. You got that one. It blurs out when you zoom in all the way, but and then one right there. You got one up top. One right here dead center. Red copper hair, dark face. He's got a baby on his back. That's a big Sasquatch right there. Just sitting in between the trees. Yeah, I'll start adding that a little bit of sharpness on there so you can see. But yeah, he's well blended. He's just sitting there. You start to see his nostril flare up there a little bit. You see his wavy hair quite a bit there now. Now you can see he's looking down to his right. See that? To stop his any kind of reflections and stuff. Pretty crazy. Next image. Looks like he's got Fabio type hair. Real wavy hair, and then you get that little Sasquatch up top there. Alright, next image. That's a side profile view of a Sasquatch in the bush. Basically like that. In the bush. Looks like there's one up top there. Maybe one. Oh, right there. Back behind him. Facing the other direction. There's one right there. It's like they're leaning on each other back to back. Looking both directions is what they're doing. Probably lookout men for the tribe. See his eye, right? To see the white of his eye. This guy here on the back side. And here's the one on the front side. Next one. It's just a little bit more clear image. Look at the hair on his face. Look at that. All the hair on his nose, it's coming down over his lip. It's so long. Look at that. Unbelievable. And then there's its eye up there. It's like he might have more chimpanzee type DNA or something. That one does. And this one's got more human-like DNA. Alright, here's another one. Okay, there's two Sasquatches here. Actually, it looks like three. They're just well hidden. So you got the one up top. And there's one eye. And then you got the side profile view of one right here. There's its mouth open. Its eyes. It's just a young one. And it looks like there's one right here that's reflecting a lot of light off his face from the sun. It's probably a light gray skin one or something, and then that sun just hit him just right. And then looks like there's one right here behind that vegetation, real close to me. And then one right back in there. See its eye right there. See both its eyes and its one eye. Here's its nose. Nope, sorry, got that wrong. Its one eye's right here, and that one's right there. And there's its gray beard. Yeah, I see it now. There's its nose. Probably one of the elderly in the tribe. Let's see here. One of the elderly Sasquatches. Check him out. Alright, next one. Okay. This was recorded at night. It was a juvenile outside of my house waiting on my dogs. You can see he's leaning down. You see his eyes right there. But the adult parents they're never too far off. You know what I mean? They're always right there. Check him out, though. Pretty good definition for a blurry image. Yeah, when you record him at night, so look at that. There's the adult right there. Getting the whites of his eyes, leaning way down there in the brush. Right here. Okay. Done with that one. Okay, this here was taken in Tennessee when I went down to Gatlinburg. It's blurry, but what I thought was really interesting is there's one thing I wanted to point out. That's why I put the image on here. Because you see the Sasquatch is up in the tree. But then you got this Sasquatch right here, right? He's got his arm down here. And they're getting up in the tree to hide up in the canopy. But if you look real close, you can see he's got his arm down here, and he is pinching the legs of this baby. And you can see that baby's rump up in the air, and the baby's head's like down that way. He's picking him up and pulling him up into the tree. Let me take the markups off so you guys can see this. See how he's got his arm out there grabbing the baby's legs and pulling him up. To get him up into the tree. Looks like he's got another juvenile in his arms there. Getting his kids up there, protecting them. Looks like there's one already up there, one of the kids. Well, I don't know. It looks like biddies right there. Looks like tidbits to me. I don't know for sure. A couple female, maybe. All right, next image. This one, I didn't even do any kind of editing. I know that I was being watched, but you can see the eyes looking around the tree there. That's just right out front of my house. You can see the face. There's two of them there watching me. You got, let's see. Alright. You got the one up here. You can see his eyes there and his beard. Like that, grayed out. Then you got one right here looking around. That's all that is. It's too pixelated. Moving on. Not wasting time on that one. Oh, this was the Tennessee one up down on the road where I caught the Sasquatch climbing up into the tree. But look at these Sasquatches down here leaning up against the tree. Look how big they are. Right here's one Sasquatch leaning over, using the tree for cover. There's one of the little juveniles right here. There's another one. Right, that's his legs right there. And then right here is I think this one here might possibly be a Dogman. Just look at those ears on that one. The one up top there is a Dogman, I do believe. I'm going to take those marks off just so we can actually get into the image closer, because when you do markup, you can't zoom all the way in. So now we'll zoom all the way in and get a better look. Okay, so it looks like there's one right there. There is. See him right there? He's up on that tree branch laying out, right? And then you got one laying on this one, full body, laying out on that branch. You can see his elbow draping down there. Okay. Then you got one right there looking back. Another one there. One right there. Man, there's just a bunch of them in there. Very squatchy. But this one up here looks like it's got ears. Like maybe it's a Dogman. I'm not sure. It's quite possible. Anyways. Ooh, look at the whites of the eyes showing on that one. Check him out. Watching me. This was taken in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. All right, next. One watching me from around the tree there. One back in there. I don't know what this one is. I ain't even seen this one yet. Ooh, look at him hiding. The image was completely dark for me. But then when you throw some highlights in there and exposure and lighten it up, you see there's one of those creepy asses watching you right behind your tree in the pitch dark. Just sitting there observing you. You know what I mean? And, you got millions of Americans out here running around who don't even think these creatures exist, and they could pounce on them and kill them in a heartbeat, and they'd never even know what hit them. You know what I mean? If these guys really wanted to start assaulting people, and I mean, they're right there. They can be right on you, There's a couple in there, but this video is starting to run pretty long, so I'll save the rest of these images I got for another day. Anyways, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Peace.